What's going on, family? This is your boy, Pastor Omar, and we are getting ready to start our event, Behind the Mask. Now, listen, a lot of times as Christians, we don't really get a safe space to have raw, unfiltered conversation about dating and relationships. We kind of get the packaged version from people who are already married and they dress it up all nice. I want to have a raw conversation where we're not preaching to you, but we're having a general conversation with 6 different raw personalities expressing what they feel on the man's side and on the women's side. So, y'all buckle your seatbelts. Enjoy the ride. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome y'all to the young adult event Behind the Mask. So check this out. Over the last year, we have been stuck on quarantine. That's a lot. Some of y'all haven't really been on quarantine. I've been watching y'all IG stories. I've been watching y'all Facebook posts. Some of y'all have been traveling, booked and busy. Y'all have been everywhere in these streets, but that is okay. For those of us who have remained inside, there have been some challenges trying to date in the middle of a pandemic, but I would like to suggest that even before the pandemic, there were some challenges when it came to dating. So I have 6 individuals represented here. I'm not going to talk about anybody's relationship status, but all of them filed their taxes as single, so we will have a conversation as such because you are what your taxes say you are. So listen, we are getting ready to have a candid conversation about relationships, religion, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I want to start the conversation by asking this question, and I'm going to direct it to the ladies first because I'm a gentleman and always ladies first. What are some of the issues that you are finding when it comes to dating?
Insecurities.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Specifically, I think a lot of women these days are pretty independent. That's just the way the world is evolving. So I'm finding a lot of men are dealing with insecurities, maybe unconsciously, that they may not even recognize within themselves when it comes to a woman holding her own, having her own job. Not necessarily saying that she's not willing to let some of those things go when she finds the right guy, but coming into the relationship, I feel like those insecurities grow pretty present, I should say, when they first meet a woman and she's going down. They get to know her and they see all the things that she has and the things that she's doing, whether it's success or money or whatever the case may be. Those insecurities come up.
You hear that, fellas? She said y'all insecure. Before y'all respond,
did she say that?
Ladies, I want to
gaslighting.
Right? Did she say that?
I just want to keep transparency and make sure that they heard what was said. I want to ask for another opinion, ladies. What else is an issue that you are finding in dating?
I would say lack of awareness. Understanding what's happening not only with your life, but your partner's life as well. I've dated guys that do pretty well for themselves. And one example, this guy was an entrepreneur and he was just too busy. And when I decided to come to him and say, you have to decide what you want. If you want a relationship, you have to make room for that. Or just keep it moving. And I think he was taken aback by that approach because he was like, well, I'm doing well. Isn't this everything that you would want in a person? I'm like, but how am I supposed to get to know you? It's great that you have all these things, but if we don't spend time together, what is the point? So I just think a lack of awareness, like you need to be open to receiving that criticism and also understanding what's happening. Just lack of awareness. That's my thing. That's a big issue for me.
Okay. All right, I want to, y'all are unaware, so y'all are insecure, y'all are also unaware. I want to hear from our last contestant. Can you let us know what is the issue that you are finding in dating?
I would just say the different values, the unmatched values and stuff. I don't know. I feel like they kind of hit it because I was going to say insecurity. That was the main one that I do face a lot.
All right, so fellas, before y'all react, I just want to make sure, repetition is the mother of learning. So I just want to reiterate what was stated. Y'all are insecure. Contestant number 3 doubled down on it and said, yeah, y'all are insecure. Right and then contestant number 2 said, y'all are unaware. So busy trying to be booked and busy, which is funny because we actually have entrepreneurs represented here out of our 3 gentlemen. But y'all got to be aware.
You have to make time.
Got to make time. So fellas, respond to that. Respond to that. and then let us know some of the issues that y'all are finding in dating. We can go from the left to the right.
Are we doing the insecurities first? That's what you want to
respond to whatever it is that you would like to respond to, and then let us know some of the issues that you find in dating.
I guess I would say, so to speak on the whole unawareness thing, I think a lot of guys, well, I can speak for myself, I find it, being unaware, I think that's kind of like, it may be a stretch. It may be a stretch because when you're trying to get to know someone, the purpose is, in getting to know someone, is to understand what they've been through. So automatically, yeah, we're going to be unaware. That comes with trying to get to know someone and what their lifestyle, what they've been through, the past hurt that they've been through, the past trauma that they may have. And we're not automatically going to know until we get to know the person. So that's why I have to say as far as the unaware thing. And you also spoke on, what else did you speak on?
They spoke on insecurities.
Insecurities.
They doubled down on insecurity. They would say it twice,
down.
as a matter of fact, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as far as the insecurities part, I believe that insecurities are real, of course, but that also comes with whoever they was dealing with beforehand. And sometimes they can easily, I find it that a lot of women can easily take their insecurities and project it on us. So I think they will want us to understand, like, hey, understand me. And this is the time that I want you to understand it in this around amount of time. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you, but you should automatically know.
All right, so let's switch it up for a second.
So
Jean Jacket, let me know.
Can I clarify something before?
Wait.
I just want to clarify something.
Wait, before y'all clarify, because we gave y'all an opportunity
You're right.
to speak.
My bad. You're right.
You know
you're
what I'm
right.
So we're going to let them all respond. And then after that, I'm going to play the role of the antagonist, and I'm going to let y'all go at it.
You've been doing that from the beginning.
Right.
That's so crazy that y'all would say that about the youth pastor. Jean Jacket, let me know, instead of responding to some of the things that they stated, let's transition for a second. As a young man, what are some of the issues that you find in dating?
Yeah, so some of the issues that I've definitely come across was, as you know, this is last year was a COVID year. We're still in COVID. So a lot of people are trying their hand at this online dating, and dating apps and things like that. Now, we all know men are visual. You feel me? So some of the issues I've came across was that the girls don't look the same in their pictures.
It's vice versa.
That they did when you go on a date with them. And, God created men with eyes, right? As he created women with eyes. But, like I said, we are more visual than women are. So, the first thing I see about you is your looks. I don't see a personality. I don't see that you love Jesus. I don't see all these other great things about you. But the first thing I see is, hey, I have this attraction to you because of the way you look. So, on my online dates that I've been on, I've run into that problem probably about 2 or 3 times. So, that kind of dampens the mood when you show up, to the restaurant or the park or the ice cream spot that y'all meeting at. And, she not looking the way she did on that profile picture. You feel me? Because I feel like I put in time and effort to make sure I look the way I do, you know what I'm saying, to look as accurate. And I felt like, you need to do the same. So that's one of the things. I got so many, but I'll go ahead and start with that one.
Okay, ladies, because I see y'all shaking, I see legs shaking. I'm going to give y'all an opportunity to respond. Sir,
yes, sir.
To my left, can you let me know what are some of the issues that you have run into when it comes to dating?
The issues I run into, they're guarded women. They're guarded. A lot of the issues, their insecurities come out, I think it's like mind games. No one wants to play the fool. So everybody is like, hey, I text you earlier, so I'm not going to text you back again. I can't double text you because that's showing too much interest.
Okay, text talk.
So I'm going to just fall back. I see you really not interested like that, so this is how we going to play it. And next thing you know, I'm one of those people like, hey, I'm going to go on with life. You have a nice life.
Same.
That's just me.
All right, so now we're going to play a back and forth game, right? So now that we have allowed all 6 of our contestants to speak, as you can see, we have 6 different personalities and opinions that are represented here. So now what we're going to do for the next couple of moments, we're going to let a lady respond, and then we're going to let a gentleman respond, and we're going to kind of do a back and forth thing. So which one of our women can tell? Okay, in the middle. Okay. We're going to let you go first. React.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm first going to respond to the brother who said women catfish men.
I didn't say catfish, but go ahead.
I was one of those people that decided to try online dating for a short amount of time. And it was the same thing on our end. The angles, you know, you're only posting selfies. I don't see what you look like, all the way from top to bottom. You're saying you're 5'10", you're more like 5'7" when I see you in person. Men lie too. Men exaggerate too. So it's not just on our end where we're the ones that catfish. Granted, we can wear makeup and we have weave, but men do the same thing. They lie about their physical attributes, or they try to disguise it until you actually see that man in person. Now, women can probably get away with it until you get into a place where she is a little more relaxed, where she doesn't have the makeup, the weave, the waist trainer, and I get that. But I just don't want you to think that men aren't out here scamming. And the other guy, the last one that spoke, what was his point again?
Insecurities are sometimes projected. Nobody wants to play the fool.
Okay. So when it comes to successful men, I find that there are a lot of narcissists out there. And I think they use their success as a way to, I guess, get over on women, in my opinion, because they think my success is enough. I don't need to bring anything more to the table. Because I'm successful, I don't need to be emotionally available. I don't need to deal with my trauma. You have a lot of pick-me's out there, a lot of women who will deal with it because they want that man who is successful, who's great on paper, but personality-wise, they're straight trash.
Gentlemen, who would like to respond to all that you've heard? Now, being able to hear the other side of the coin, how does that make you feel?
Now, we're in 2021, right? So, you know, mental health is something that's super important right now these days. So I'm going to assume the young lady is talking about, this day and age where, mental health and, having personality and things like that. That's something that is pushed in, like, dealing with your trauma. Like, that's a very common thing now in the Black community. Shout out to everybody that's been pushing that. So success, it looks different based on who you're asking. And sometimes we can't help the people that we're attracted to. So in the past, I've dated girls, and they all seem to be the same type of girl that I've been attracted to. Girls that, that doesn't matter. But it's been the same kind of girl, right? So I would ask that young lady, maybe these are the kind of guys that you're attracting, but necessarily isn't the kind of guy
Who said
that's
I was talking about my dating
there.
experience?
Excuse me?
Who said I was talking about my dating experience?
I think that was the question, I thought.
Well, no, I'm asking questions for the women to speak on behalf of women.
Got you.
For the men to speak on behalf of men.
Exactly.
So let me be very clear. Everything that I say today is going to be on my personal dating experience. I thought that's why we were here. Because we don't speak. We can't speak for a whole
everybody.
For a whole,
right.
For a whole species.
But you don't have friends who have other experiences, so okay, I'm just
clarifying why I thought I was here. Because I thought we were speaking personal experiences. But go ahead.
So here, I have, we're going to come here first, and then we're going to come to you. So
when
we're going
you said here.
Yeah.
To you, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say y'all names. For the audience that is watching, the contestants do not know each other. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't say everybody's name. So yes, to my right, react.
I just want to clarify. I think when we were talking about being unaware, I think the young lady to my left was saying that she is looking for more for men to be, well, myself too. I also am looking for men to be more self-aware, not necessarily aware in general, but there's a self-awareness that goes along with being in any type of partnership, being aware of what you're not necessarily bringing to the table, but what you're bringing to the relationship. And are you owning up to the things that you're doing, whether they're good or bad, helpful or unproductive? Just being aware of the energy and the attitude that you're bringing towards the relationship, not so much aware versus unaware, but being self-aware and taking that self-inventory. And like you said, I mean, part of that process is getting to know the other person, but as you're getting to know the other person, being aware of if your other partner is upset about something or happy about something, being aware of what did you do to create that type of reaction, whether it's good or bad, just that self-awareness. So for in the example that she brought up, the person that she was dating or that her friend, the woman was dating,
that was me.
Okay, great. Okay.
I said that, I was like, that was me.
The guy that she was dating was not being self-aware in the fact that she needed more quality time. So speaking for myself, and I think for her, we're not necessarily concerned if you're aware, but we need you to be self-aware.
Especially after I bring it to your attention.
Yes.
And being considerate and recognizing that I have a right to feel how I feel about something. And do you respect my feelings for that? And are you going to dismiss it, or we can figure out together how we can solve the problem?
Right. Also, adding on to same topic to the last gentleman that just spoke, we do live in a world, it's 2021, everyone's talking about mental health these days, and that's amazing. But part of going to like I think sometimes men use my therapist told me this, or I went to therapy and learned that, and now I know about my traumas. Your traumas are different from being self-aware, so they can come together and they can be combined, but they're also two separate things. So I think sometimes men think that they get brownie points for throwing out there, I went to therapy today, right? You know what I mean?
And people lie to their therapist,
right?
People exactly. are not honest with their therapist,
right? So it's not so much that you're taking the steps towards your mental health. I mean, not necessarily your mental health. It's not so much that you're taking the steps in your therapy, but are you also applying that to your real life and making yourself accountable in your interactions and your relationships? Okay, now I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. All right, so let's, you getting ready to go?
Yeah, I got a little small point.
Okay,
so
go
I
ahead.
think somebody said something about getting to know the person, and then, I guess they had some trauma and stuff like that. But I feel like with men, they just lack communication. They don't like to open up and tell you things. Like, I don't know this about you, so how do I know how to approach you? Well, I don't know if this is going to affect you. I just feel like they have really bad communication. Men have bad communication, and that has a big play in it.
Generalized it. Okay, so fellas, let's do this. I want you to respond to the communication piece because, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me what I am hearing is when it comes to the ladies' interaction with men, there's been a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of men not being self-aware of their own actions, men not being self-aware of how their actions may make their partner feel. Ladies, am I interpreting that correctly?
I wouldn't generalize it so broadly, but in my specific relationships, self-awareness has played a small role. I have dealt with some men that are self-aware, that are great communicators, so I can't say that all men don't know how to communicate, but there's also, my biggest thing is the insecurities and being able to recognize that to the point where you can communicate it and put it in the forefront. So the self-awareness is a piece. I can't say that's in totality the whole thing, though.
Okay, so I want to have one of the gentlemen respond to that, and then I want to transition into the next question because I really want to unpack the next question.
Was it about the communication?
No. As a matter of fact, respond to the communication piece, and then I'm going to ask my next question.
I think effective communication is what men look for. We don't want to go around the mulberry bush. If 1 + 1 = 2, let's just get there. I mean, I think sometimes we're doing a lot of talking. So to avoid all that talking, that's when men just say, you know what? Hey, I ain't gonna say nothing at all, because I don't want to deal with all of that. All that, it becomes stress. Then it becomes a burden. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing too much. Like I said, so if you're hurt, tell me why you're hurt. Don't give me everything else. Don't tell me what guy A did to you, B did to you, C to you. Just tell me what came from it and what can we do to move past it. And I think that's the hard part, for communication with women and men.
Lakers hat. Did you want to add anything additional to that?
I would say patience. I think patience is the biggest thing on both parts. I think for guys, when it comes to women, like us having to be patient with trying to understand where they're coming from. Because again, like my brother to the left said, like with us, it's like, please just get us to the destination so we can kind of like move forward. Like we're not the type that's going to kind of like store things. And like, I thought we talked about this like 2 weeks. Why are we bringing it back up? Like I thought we were trying to move forward here. And it's like, I think patience is the biggest thing on both parts. So that's what I got to say on that.
Now, I want to transition here. In Jean Jacket, I actually want you to be the first guy to respond to this.
Let's go.
And then after you respond, I cannot wait for this. After you respond, then ladies, I would like somebody to respond to it. So here is my next question, right? So when you become married, you are, biblically, you become one with that person. And a lot of times when people speak about compatibility, I don't hear people talking about being fiscally compatible with somebody in reference to, are you compatible in the way that you manage your money? So my question to you, sir, is how important is it to you to be fiscally compatible with the person that you're dating?
Yeah, that's a dope question. Really good question. To me, it's not important. If I can take care of both of us, you can make $100,000 a year. I can make $50,000 a year. But if my 50 can take care of the whole household, then that 100, that's you. You got that. Do whatever you want. But I feel like as a man, right? As a man, I should be able to hold down the crib. Now, I know I'm old-fashioned. I know, that's not necessarily, going with the whole theme of I'm strong and I'm strong and independent women don't need no man for nothing, that kind of thing. And but personally, I think that the whole idea of the strong black woman, that is unfortunate. That's unfortunate that even has to be a thing. And that shows that men aren't doing their job if that ideology even exists. So as far as the fiscally part, yeah, man, like I don't want her to have to pay for nothing. Life on me. You feel me?
So
Wait, who said that?
Before I go any further, I want to make sure that I have clarity in what you said. So when you stated that, as far as the ideology of the strong black women, you think that's unfortunate. Let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. It's not that you think it's unfortunate because they're not supposed to be strong, but are you saying you feel like it's unfortunate because they have only had to take on that role because men have not stepped up?
I think it's both. I think strength for a woman looks different than strength for a man. Men are not strong enough to have babies. Women are. So that's strength for them to do that, right? But when it comes to being strong as far as holding down a whole household because a man doesn't step up to the plate or a man left you with 3 or 4 kids, that is unfortunate. You shouldn't have to take on all that. You were not built for that. You weren't made for that. So that ideology has come because men have not taken their place and because men are trash. Well, not all men, but because some men have proven to be trash. And that hurts my heart every single time, someone glorifies that or someone praises that because that's not how it's supposed to be. So yeah, those are the two different kinds of strengths.
I appreciate that explanation. All right, so ladies, before you even answer the question, I want one of you to respond to what he said.
I mean, I agree with him. I agree that it is unfortunate that women have had to take on that role. Not, again, just like to reiterate what he said, not to say that we can't be strong or we're not allowed to be strong, but we shouldn't have to be strong by ourselves. Like, men don't have to walk around and be like, I'm a strong black man. That's just part of who they are. And because they are strong, because they can be strong by themselves, they can be strong with a woman beside them. I agree that it's unfortunate that has taken on such a role in society. I mean, I embody it well, but I still don't want to.
I would say I am okay with that mindset, just as long as he sees me as a partner and not a servant.
Agreed, yeah.
That's really the only
100%.
disclaimer that I would put out there, because in my past, because I got to be specific, in my past, There was another guy I dated who wanted to do all of these things and make sure I was taken care of, but then in the end, kind of turned the tables and started to keep tabs. And I had to, it was like I owed him my time, or like if he calls at this time, I have to answer at this time because he's done X, Y, and Z. And I had to cut that off real quick because I'm like, screaming abusive. Like, I don't know about that. But as long as it's a partnership, I think that's okay.
All right. Contestant number 3 on the women's side. Before you go, let me transition back to the men. Men, respond to that. How does that response? Do you agree with it? Do you agree with her response, and do you agree with what your counterpart to the right said? If you making 100 and I'm making 50, I'm gonna hold down the fort with my 50, and you go enjoy your 100. Do you agree with that?
Be honest. Be honest.
Yeah, be straight up.
I don't think if a woman's making 100 and a man's making 50, she's not gonna go for that. She's not gonna go for that. I think at some point in time, she's looking at it as like you said earlier, we're visual people. So most of us, social media is the mecca of everything. That's what we're looking on. They're saying that their friend's significant other or somebody else's significant other they follow going on trips, taking lavish trips, getting lavish gifts. And they're looking like, okay, my 50K from my man, I can't do too much. He can take me out to a nice dinner, maybe Ruth Chris, but, can he take me to Belize? You know what I'm saying, with his 50? Or do we got to go over my 100? So I don't really think that they'll go for that.
Ladies, I would love to hear your response to that. Can you deal with a man that you make more money than?
I would say yes because my parents did it.
But I feel
my
like
parents
too,
are still doing it.
I kind of go back to what you said. I feel like social media just set us up anyway. Because I'm not going to be basing my life on what I see my friends doing on social media. That messes us all up anyway. If you want to do something, you want to do something because that's your idea. That's what you want to do with your man. You want to get away and do something. And you know what you got and what's in your household, what y'all can do and what y'all can't do. I ain't going to be, I don't know. It's just social media messes us up with stuff like that.
And I think there's a big misconception that every woman wants luxury. Luxury looks different to every individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have a man that clears out his day and he's like, I'm going to take you to your favorite breakfast spot. We're going to go to TJ Maxx and then we're going to lounge on the beach. That in itself would still make me just as happy if he were to fly me across the country, because let's say he flies me across the country, but we only do that once every 6 months. You know what I'm saying? I would rather just have a man who makes time for me. It's something that Nipsey Hussle said. He was like, children spell love, Time. And I think not just children, but people in general. Mm-hmm. You just making time for me, that's all I care about. So the making more, as long as you provide, as long as you're able, like my parents, my mom, before my dad retired, my mom made more, but my dad is good with his hands and making sure that the cars are taken care of, that the house is taken care of. So at the end of the day, they still put in the same amount of effort. While my mom's was monetary, my dad was more so like just holding the fort down and making sure that we were okay no matter what. So I'm not biased when it comes to my man making more or less. But as long as he takes care of us and makes time for me, that's fine.
Now, I want to throw it to the fellas real quick because I want y'all to respond to something. First off, I want to say that I, just like her dad, I'm good with my hands too. I can't build anything, but I can fight. So when I say I'm good with my hands, it's altar calls or altercations. Either way, I'm laying hands. But fellas, I want y'all to respond to something because what you just heard from the ladies, does that seem to be the norm or the exception? And what I mean by that is do you, in your experience, is it the norm that you hear women saying, no, I don't mind that I make more than my man? Or from what you just heard, does it sound like, hey, that might be the case for you, but you ladies may be the exception, but that hasn't been the norm in your experience?
I have to say for me, I was previously married, so I came from a place of actually making the majority in the house and, for my ex-wife, even though I was buying a lot of things and making sure everything was taken care of, her main thing was quality time. So that's one thing that I would agree on, that I knew that I wasn't really strong at or really didn't get, because how, men, we express ourselves like, hey, I'm holding down things like, I got this, giving you this, giving you that. But, I would agree on the quality time thing. So, yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call accountability. All right? So
self-awareness.
Self-awareness, which they said that men lack, but we just heard it expressed. And okay. So I want to transition
You're generalizing. You can't keep generalizing.
My job today is to be the mediator, but also to be the antagonist.
Right.
Because it's going to make for great TV, and I want y'all to stay tuned in. Now,
touché.
Here is my next question. This is going to be a goodie. And ladies, I want you to respond to this first, actually. And then after the lady responds, Jean Jacket, I want you to respond to whatever they say, all right? How important is it to you for you and your significant other to share the same religious belief?
It's very important. I feel like you got to be equally yoked.
For the non-believers who may be watching and hear equally yoked, can you further elaborate on what you mean by that?
Well, first of all, I'm just give you an example of a situation. Let's say the man had lost his job and everything, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just pray about it. Everything gonna be okay. But they really just like go off to a whole another world, and they're just like, no, I ain't gonna pray because God made me lose this job and all this other stuff. And it's just like, well, it's almost like our faith not there. It's together. Like my faith is up here, and then yours is way down here. That's kind of how I get at it with it when I say equally yoked. And then you can't be like, I don't know, like, I'm Baptist, and then you over here doing something totally different, or you saying you don't believe there's a God, then, we ain't gonna be able to make it.
So let me throw, before you give your answer, let me throw one more scenario out there, and any lady feel free to respond to this. So here's the illustration. Let's say that you meet a guy, and date one, you let them know what your religious beliefs are. And let's say that he pretends to believe what you believe, and y'all are like 5 months into it, and he's just had one too many church services on a Sunday, and now you're 5 months into it, you find that you are compatible in so many other areas. And the reason why I'm giving this illustration is because this
happens all the time.
This actually happened before. Like, Shorty was like, I'm tired of hearing you preach. I was like, whoa. Okay, so let's say that happens. Y'all are like 5 months into a committed relationship. This isn't an imaginationship. This isn't a situationship. This is a relationship that y'all have been committed in for 5 months. And then you find out that y'all are actually not religiously compatible. Do you stay or do you go?
And everything else in the relationship is wonderful.
Everything else in a relationship is wonderful, but you find out they don't believe what you believe.
I would have to go, not necessarily because our religious beliefs don't match up, but now I'm having some trust issues. Like, I don't know that I can trust you in what you're telling me moving forward. For me, us having the same faith is important. I can't say that it's a deal breaker as long as you believe in something. But in that particular scenario of what you just described, now I'm going to have a hard time believing anything that you tell me moving forward. If you were able to keep that going for 5 months and then my free trial ended, and now I don't know, and now I'm questioning, what else have you told me? Do you really like ice cream? Are you really a fan of Chick-fil-A? I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. If you're gonna, especially if you're saying that happened and she doesn't want to hear you preach anymore, if you're that involved in your faith and she let that go for that long and that's your profession, I'm concerned. I have concerns that I don't know that I can move forward with.
I was appalled, bamboozled.
Right.
I was like, you sat front row the last 6 Sundays.
Right.
Jean Jacket, how important is it to you for you to be compatible with somebody spiritually?
Nah, it's definitely important. But I do feel like men can missionary date, but women, it's not the smartest for women. And when I say that, I have seen and been a part of many relationships where, they call it missionary dating, right? To where you're like, yo, she's not saved right now, but she got potential though. She got that Jesus potential. And, I always say the person that comes in a relationship with the most influence, that's where their relationship is going. So, like, I tend to have a lot of influence. I tend to have a big personality. I tend to, be very, grounded in where I'm going and where I'm not. And a lot of times women, well, let me not say this. I'll say it like this. I have successfully dated women who weren't Christians because of whatever reason. And then, we date and they say, oh, this Jesus thing's all right, cool, word. Now, the relationship doesn't work out, but those women are still Christians. Those women are still, people that would consider themselves Christians and followers of Jesus, right? And I have seen it more positive like that side, or in that respect, when men do it, rather than when women date dudes who aren't in church or don't know Jesus, and they just out here dating because they want to be with a dude so bad, or they want to be in a relationship so bad that they may start out, I'm gonna, I can change him, I can do this and that, I can bring him to church, but like 9 times out of 10, joint don't work. So I am definitely one that's saying, hey, ideally, if we both could love Jesus for real, that'd be great. But I think men can do it more and have a higher success rate than women could when it comes to missionary dating.
Ladies, as a matter of fact, I want to do one more thing, because this conversation, all of our contestants told me that this was going to happen, that the conversation was going to be so great, we weren't going to be able to finish, but there is going to be a part 2 to Behind the Mask. But I want to end this Behind the Mask segment with this question, and I want both parties to respond. Burgundy shirt, I'm coming to you first with this question, and then ladies, I want you to react. So, there was a book that came out by a pastor, Michael Todd, called Relationship Goals. And a lot of the book, he was talking about waiting to have sex before marriage. So here is my question. Is it possible to have a successful relationship with somebody if one person wants to be celibate and the other person does not? Burgundy shirt. React.
What I can say about that is you have to effectively be upfront about, I'm not going to say what you want, but kind of sort of what you want out of it, where you going, will intimacy be a thing? Or, what I'm saying? Because now I'm looking at it, if we're not intimate, now you're a homie. So why do I need to take you out on a nice date? I mean, we can go to a nice place, but we can go Dutch. I don't think I need to be paying for you.
Oh.
But
Let me say, but what's intimate though? Like, I can't date a girl and not kiss her in the mouth.
But that's what I'm saying. That stuff like that.
But like, I know my boundaries too. Like, so I can kiss you in the mouth and that's all I'm gonna do. You feel me? And like, nothing sexual can happen, but because that's what, I'm like, I'm not gonna have sex with you, but I kiss you in the mouth all night. You feel me? So it's like, but then she thinks,
you kissing the mouth all night. You're a bad
boy.
Hey, you're a bad boy. You can do that.
Oh, for sure. I've did it before. Yeah. Like, I've been in situations where I've told girls,
going home.
Listen, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm not doing. You feel me? They think I'm lying. And then, we do what we do. And they're like, oh, so that's it? Yeah, that's it. That's all. You can go home. That's all I want to do.
I just want to state that these views do not reflect Grove Baptist Church. We actually have allowed them to express this. No, I'm just joking. Ladies, respond to that. I take that back. Before you respond to what they said, I want you to answer the question first. And then after you answer the question, then you can actually respond to what you just heard. Can you be in a successful relationship if one person wants to be celibate and the other person does not? And I want to clarify my question with this. Notice I did not state if you want to be celibate and the other person does not. But it could be a situation where, because this is a real thing, the person that you are dealing with, I have talked to believers who was just like, hey, look, the Michael Todd book, it was great. I'm not holding out. I got to test drive the car before I make the purchase. So that's why
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, I like that. After him.
One more thing. Because the thing
Okay.
about it is also about it, we're giving time. We're giving you our all. You know what I'm saying? You want us to give you our all. You want us to be open, vulnerable, and everything else. But now it's time for you to be a little open and vulnerable, and you don't want to put out. I don't mean to say it like that, but
we wanted to have a candid conversation with 6 different personalities so we can hear the real. This is what is taking place in the dating world. Lakers hat, respond.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that it's all about knowing your boundaries. I think Jean Jacket said it perfect. Like, knowing your boundaries. You knew that I was about kissing you in your mouth, and you knew this ahead of time. And, and vice versa. I mean, yeah, it's all about knowing your boundaries. I can say, far as for me, dealing with people to whereas the woman was more so wanting to have.
Uncuff the mic for me, sir.
I'm sorry. So used to the rapping, I just got to get it. The woman wanted to, be the one that initiates the sex. And I just gave into it, to be honest with you. That's really how it happened. And, I'm then. I ain't talking about now. We're talking about then.
Blame it on Eve. Blame it on Eve.
Yeah, so I always make the joke, Eve was pretty much like, Adam, if you don't eat this fruit, you ain't getting this fruit. So that's how I would just say how that started. But, yeah.
And focus, man.
I want the ladies to respond.
All right.
They had a lot of time. We
Please
ain't
let
had
me
no
go
time.
first.
They had a lot of time. You elaborate. Now we get something we want to elaborate on. We got to let the ladies
we
go.
sat here super silent.
We're gonna let the ladies respond, and then I'm gonna give y'all a chance to continue to elaborate.
Like they said, they wanted us to be.
To answer your question, focus. Yes, it's possible. I just think it requires a ton of communication and patience on both sides. Patience for whoever wants to be celibate with the other person because they're obviously going to struggle with it. So that person has to be patient, and the person who does not wish to be celibate has to be patient with the person who does. It has to be, like I said, ton of communication from the beginning, like date 2, from up until however long they last. I think that's the only way that it can happen. It's possible. I don't know if it's ideal, but it is possible. To my brother behind me talking about the We Can Go Dutch. My God.
That's crazy.
Homies. That's what we are.
That's crazy.
That's what we are.
My gosh. So I just need clarification. So you're saying that if she's mentioning in the beginning that if she would like to be celibate, then you're not about it at all. So that's the only reason that you're saying that you can go Dutch. You're not saying if she wants to be celibate, we can be in a relationship, but I'm not paying for you. Is that what you're saying?
I kind of got lost. Say it one more time.
Are you saying that if she says in the beginning that she wants to be celibate, then y'all are just going to be friends? You're not going to enter into a relationship? Or are you saying if she decides she wants to be celibate, we can be in a relationship? I'm just not putting going to put forth as much effort.
I don't see a relationship happening.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a relationship happening.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Sorry.
Because I mean, that's a lot of time I'm giving and a lot of effort, and
Okay.
Like I said, you want my all. I'm going to give you my all.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying.
Orange shirt.
I wouldn't even say I'm shocked because I have a lot of guy friends and we have conversations about this all the time, and majority of them say they will not enter a relationship until they have sex with the girl. That's first, like sex first, and then from there I decide if I like you enough to continue to get to know you in that way. And that's the norm. Like, just from different guy friends that I have, they all say the same thing. So I can't even say that I am shocked by what the gentlemen on the other side are saying. I don't know. I don't think it's possible because someone's gonna cave. Like, I just don't think you will be able to live or operate in a cohesive manner without somebody giving in, somebody being unhappy, I personally don't think it will work.
Contestant number 3.
If I could just be really honest, I feel like it's going to be hard because, when you talk about marriage and stuff, I need to know how it is in the bed first before we get married, because this is a lifetime thing I'm trying to commit myself to, so I don't know.
And that is a very honest answer because, as I stated, I spoke with a lot of people about the book Relationship Goals, and believers and non-believers alike was just like, it's a great read, but nah.
Yes, right.
And that's why I just wanted to have a very candid conversation now. For those of you who are watching this live stream and you're like, Pastor Omar, jump in and say something biblical. I'm not, because I'm just the mediator, and my responsibility is not to preach to you all in this evening. That's not what this is. Tonight's behavioral objective was to have a candid conversation with 6 different personalities where they can represent themselves and how they think and how they feel. Listen, this is the first, because I have more questions, but I want to honor the time for those of you who are tuned into the live stream. I want to honor the time of our contestants here. So for everybody watching the live stream, if you can just put some clapping hand emojis in the comment section and celebrate all 6 of the contestants who put their face and their opinion on camera and let you all see what they were thinking. Listen, I'm excited because this is going to be the first of many candid conversations that we have. I actually want to bring this exact 6 back to do part 2 so that we can do this again. So please be on the lookout for that. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share this live stream, because even if people don't catch this live, they can 100% catch the playback. Share this with your friends, have conversation in the comment section, and then send us some messages about something that you want us to address in our next Behind the Mask that we're gonna have. So until we see you all again, peace and power. What an amazing conversation that we just had over this last 45 minutes or so. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed the conversation. I actually hope that you were able to gain a little bit of perspective. If you are a man watching, I hope you were able to gain some perspective from some of the things that the ladies were saying. Ladies, for those of you who are watching, I hope you too were able to get some perspective from what the men were saying. Whether you agree or disagree with anything that you heard, I hope that you at least walk away with understanding and maybe a new perspective. This is the first of many events that we're gonna do like this, because I thoroughly enjoyed myself and I hope you enjoyed it too. Please don't forget to share this stream so somebody can catch the playback, all right? Until we see y'all again, peace.